Hi Pisces, this is your horoscope for February 2017. Thanks for joining me. It's really nice to be with you today. Now, it's interesting that you've got Neptune, the South Node, and Chiron in your first house of self this month. So there's going to be a big focus on realizing your own hopes and dreams and letting go of past disappointments. On the 4th of February, you've got Venus, the planet of love and creativity and beauty, going into Aries in your second house. Now, Venus rules Taurus and it rules Libra, so it's not particularly happy in Aries. It's an energy that's far too driven and fiery for the planet of love and beauty. A lot of the signs of the zodiac have kind of had problems integrating this energy in a constructive way this month, but in your case it works really well. So Venus is about creativity and starting new things. Aries is about overcoming obstacles and moving things forward. And in this placement in your second house, it means that you as a Pisces have real potential to get creative, to start your own business, to do something independently, especially if there's a financial link to it. So the focus is wealth, abundance, prosperity, and how you can create that for yourself. Not only that, you've got Mars, the archetypal male principle, sitting in Aries, which is super fiery, and then also Uranus in Aries, all in your second house of money and belongings, and all three of these are giving you huge amounts of drive and energy when it comes to making your own money, creating wealth, and doing it off your own back, doing it by yourself. Now on the 5th of February, Jupiter, the lucky planet, goes into retrograde and it stays in retrograde until the 10th of June 2017. Now, that doesn't mean that Jupiter stops providing you with good luck and good fortune. It still will. Jupiter is one of the outer planets, and the outer planets move much more slowly and they spend quite a lot of time in retrograde. So Jupiter here spends 4 months in retrograde. Pluto can be in retrograde for as long as 6 months. It's not as significant as when the personal planets go retrograde. Planets like Mercury, Venus, and Mars, because they have a specific influence on you as an individual. So what is good about Jupiter retrograde is that in traditional astrology, it used to rule Pisces. So it gives you the opportunity to really reflect and to reevaluate the way you're living your life. And because it's in Libra in your 8th house, that particularly applies to the relationships that you have and the institutions you belong to. So if you work for a company, or if you're part of some committee, or if you work in a hospital or a prison or any kind of institution at all, you're going to reflect on what work you're doing there, whether the value you're putting into the business, the institution, is enough, whether what you're getting out of that business is enough, and you're going to start reflecting and questioning that. That is not a bad thing to do. Obviously, if you're working very hard, you want to make sure that you're being kind of reimbursed for what energy you're putting into the business. So that's going on, but at the same time, you've got Venus, Mars, and Uranus in your second. So there's an interesting kind of balancing act between, is this the right job for me, versus I really feel creatively inspired to do things by myself and I really want to do things independently. At the same time, you've got Saturn sitting in your 10th house, which is security, scrutiny, and restriction. And what that means, it'll be more difficult for you to leave an existing situation. But at the same time, if you want to create something new and build some new structure and foundation, it will support you in paving the way to make that happen. So any of you Pisceans or Pisces who are looking to start your own businesses, who are looking to make themselves independent, to start some sort of creative endeavor and to make money that way, this is really your time to make this happen. And out of all of the signs of the zodiac, you can use this energy, which is somewhat aggressive and overly driven and powerful, to your advantage to really build something that will be there for a long time. Now on the 7th of February, Mercury goes into Aquarius, and it goes into Aquarius in your 12th house. Now Mercury is the communication planet, and in Aquarius it's very fair, it's very humanitarian, it's very scientific, and it's very kind of people oriented. In the spiritual sector, you're really going to think about other people again, and this links up with Jupiter, and it really makes you think about what role you play and what contribution you're making, and you're thinking about that in a really serious way. And it's almost like, it's not in a way that, oh, I'm not doing enough, I don't work hard enough, I'm not good enough. It's not like that. It's like, I genuinely have gifts and talents and skills. Let's say I'm 40 years old, I'm working for this hospital, I've been doing that for 10 years. Is this really where my gifts and talents are utilized in the most effective way? And you're going to think about that in a very adult kind of way and in a very responsible way. And you can trust what comes up, and you can trust the guidance that you get from that kind of thinking. In your 12th house as well, you've got that Mercury in Aquarius, but you also have your midheaven and the Sun. So your identity and your working life and the way you think, they all intermingle, and it's really on the top of your priority list, and you're asking yourself, am I doing something that's fair to me as well as to other people? So really engage with that process, because you can really answer lifelong questions by just thinking about it a little bit. Now, on the 11th of February, we've got the full moon in Leo, and it's also a lunar eclipse. Now, I will make a separate video on the full moon and new moon, just to go into more detail and to go into the ins and outs of that, because it can be a bit complicated. But in your case here, this full moon in Leo happens in your 6th house. And that's really good news for you in terms of your personal sense of physical health and physical energy. You'll really feel like you're a bit of a lion, ready to go and ready to charge. So you'll be full of energy. And the 6th house has to do, again, with work and your day-to-day routine. So you may be thinking, this extra energy, maybe I should use this to start something on my own. I really feel ready for it. I feel like I can shoulder the burden and really build something that at other times may have seemed impossible, or an obstacle that was almost insurmountable. You certainly have the energy to do whatever it is you want, and that's why it's so important that at the beginning of the month you think about your own value in the work that you're doing and whether you're getting enough out of it. Now, it's also a lunar eclipse, so that eclipse interrupts the full moon, and it's an eclipse that's on the north node, so it's about pulling energy in. And the effects of eclipses last for about 6 months after they happen, okay? So 2017 for you, Pisces, is going to be a year of real energy and excitement and drive, and this feeling that I can do it. I have the confidence in myself, and if I apply myself, I can really make it happen. The north node is in Virgo, and Virgo is about sorting the good from the bad. So even in this process of, for instance, starting your own business, getting creative, you will find it quite easy to differentiate between what works and what doesn't, and you won't be emotionally over connected to things that don't work, and you'll be able to kind of streamline the whole process. So if you ever have thought of starting your own business, this is the year to do it, and especially this lunar eclipse on the 11th is a great time to get started. Now, on the 14th of February, going through until the 1st of March, we've got Mars and Pluto forming a square. And a square is when two planets are 90 degrees apart. Now, this is really important because they only square each other once every 2 years, and it really ups the ante a little bit. So we've got Mars is the archetypal male principle, and it's about drive, and it's about getting things done. In your 2nd house, it's about how can I create more wealth. And Pluto is about genuine transformation and change. It's in Capricorn, in the sign of the worker, in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. So you will really feel pushed, in a sense, to transform your working life and to do something that you care about for yourself, and that isn't just some sort of rationalization. So you've got to be careful about this energy, because even if you're working in a hospital as a nurse, for instance, let's say, and you're really happy in that job and you love that job, this energy is going to come in anyway, and it's going to make you question, should I be doing something independently? It's going to be much easier for those of you who are in jobs that you don't particularly enjoy, or people who have already thought about making themselves self-employed, because you can really use this energy to break down those structures that already exist, and you can use this energy of the 2nd house to really build something new and to create something of your own making. So that's in place for the last 2 weeks of February. At the same time, from the 14th of February until the 9th of March, Mars begins to conjunct Uranus. And a conjunction is basically when two planets meet, they occupy the same space, and their energies come together, and they kind of mix their energies together, and they support each other. So Mars is this huge amount of drive. Uranus is electricity and chaos and really being a rebel and doing things in your own way. It makes you unstoppable. It makes you really, really focused on doing something independently. And again, that sense gets even stronger and stronger as February goes on, and the last 2 weeks of the month are going to be when you feel that most powerfully. So think about what it is you're doing at the beginning of the month. Think about whether you're happy. Think about whether you do have some sort of dream vocation that you've always thought about but never actually have had the chance to implement, and then really get serious about whether this is the time to do it. That energy then continues throughout the month until the 26th of February, when Mercury goes into your sign of Pisces, and you have loads and loads of energy in your own house of Pisces now at this time of the month. You've got Mercury, the South Node, the Moon, the Sun, Neptune, and Chiron all in Pisces, which means that you really feel very clear in terms of what your hopes and dreams are, in terms of how you communicate with yourself, what makes you feel comfortable, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what has worked in the past, what hasn't worked in the past. And you really have the energy to start again and to put that behind you and to say, okay, well, not everything has worked out like it hasn't for anybody on planet Earth, but I'm willing to really be honest with myself. This is something I care about, and I'm going to give it a shot. Not only do we have Mercury going into Pisces on the 26th, but there's also a new moon in Pisces and another eclipse. This one is a solar eclipse. So the new moon pulls in this Piscean energy. So you will feel like you're bouncing off the walls at this point, because remember, you've got so much energy in your second. Now we've got this new moon pulling in your energy. It's really important to be busy around this time of the month and to actually have a project that you're working on. So get something going. It doesn't have to be a life work, but you've got to get rid of some of this energy in some way. Meditation is good, so sport, but the best thing that you're going to achieve this month is if you're looking at the business side of things, money, self-employment. The solar eclipse is on the south node of the moon, which means that there's an opportunity to let go of negativity and the things that I mentioned a moment ago, the disappointments, the things that haven't worked. You're going to find it really, really easy to just dump all of that negative, toxic stuff, to draw a line under it, and to make space for something better and for something new. Nature does not like a vacuum, so if you get rid of negativity, you can fill it with something much more positive, and then you can really put all of that energy together and really get down to business and hit the ground running and really work at something that you'll love and enjoy. So it looks like an amazingly productive month for you. If you would like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading with me there. And I can draw up your natal chart by looking at your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. And then I can put these transits around your birth chart to see how they impact you specifically. So if you'd like to do that, it's gregoryscott.com. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, and I'll speak to you next month.